So today's tutorial is taken from this, which is part of a bigger piece I'm working on with Dory Why Not Ping Pong. Someone wants to get involved. No, thank you. This is not the final Crowley. It's a piece of Good Omens fan art, obviously, because that's what I do. In any case, though, I posted a little teaser of the hemlock from this bigger piece, which is going to be full of poison plants when it's done, and I had some requests for a tutorial, so that's what led us to this, which is the tutorial that we'll be doing today. So you can see here I've set up my frame and I'm using 2 different shades of green thread and these beads. Now these are very tiny. I think these are the smallest you can get. They're really, really tiny. You can see, focus. They're quite small. I'm using these because I want my flowers to be really delicate, but if you're doing a bigger, more robust piece, then there isn't any reason you can't use bigger seed beads if you don't have super tiny ones like this. I'm just gonna rough out with chalk where I want my main bits to be. And then we start the embroidery bit. See, look how ugly that is. Good Lord. Just gonna pull this little knot up a little bit to get rid of that extra loop there. There we go, that's a bit better. Chalk on black is daring to use because it shakes out and this moves a lot while you're actually working. So it's not the greatest background if you're starting out and you need your guides. But, so I mean, you might want to do this on white so that you don't lose your marks, but since I've already done this, I have a pretty good idea of where I'm going with it, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. And I come back up out of my knot and go straight up like that. And now, the thing with these is that at the end of each of these little stems is going to be a flower. So you need to keep that in mind when you're spacing where they go. Because if they're too close together, like for instance, these two are a little bit too close together, my flowers are gonna probably interfere with one another. But I'll be able to cope with that a little bit more easily once I actually get to that stage. And you don't need the same amount of stems on each one. I'm just gonna do, and then so you don't need the same amount of stems on each one. I'm just gonna do 4 here. And then I come back out. You don't want to come back out the same way you went in or you'll lose your stitch. So I'm coming out slightly above and then coming straight back to my middle here. And it's really just that several times over to get your the plant part of your hemlock or Queen Anne's lace, whichever one you're deciding you want to go with. And I'm just going to get a pin and pin that back. All right. And again, we come out in a different place than we went in and move to the next. Hi, Ping. I'm fine. How are you? Hey, Boo Bear. Yeah, it's true. Christian agrees with you. And I don't want to get too close to the edge here because that's just going to cause problems. Oh, see, I came out the same place I went in. After telling you not to do that. So I've just done my last little prong here, and I'm coming up underneath rather than doubling back over top because you can see it looks more delicate than these ones. And this, I don't like how this is pulled loose. I'm gonna have to think of a way to fix that. Actually, maybe I can do it now. So I'm just coming back up in the middle over here. You can watch me try to fix this in real time. And I'm gonna grab this guy. So like put my needle through there. Like that. There. And then I can pull him taut. And then let's try it with this guy as well. I'm gonna come up over here. Why are you in my way? Okay. And then we'll grab, actually we can grab all of them. I really want this loose guy out of the way. We'll just pull him. Okay. There, that looks better. Let me go back down. That's definitely better than it was a minute ago. Okay. So we've got one blossom done. And my time lapse didn't work for starting this. Anyway. Okay, so you'll notice again here we're gonna have to be careful of spacing because we don't want the petals that are gonna go on the ends of these to interfere with the petals that are going on the ends of there. So just make sure that you're remembering to leave yourself a little bit of space for your bead blossoms. Okay, step 1 complete. Now for the really time-consuming part, we're going to add the beads on. I'm changing to this thinner thread because it will be easier to thread my... I was using an embroidery needle for this part with my thicker thread, but I'm switching to a beading needle now. Let me see, which one do I want? You. All right. And I feel like I want to wash my hands, so I'm going to do that too. And this is maybe something I've talked about in my Patreon videos, but I like all of my tails, like the ends of my threads here. I try, if possible, and it isn't always, but I try to have them all come out of the same place, because then I tie them all together at the end. I may end up tucking them for this because they're so, like, we're working with shears and stuff. I haven't decided. We'll see what it looks like at the end. But I do try to have them all come out of the same place so that I can tie them together for more security. Again, with pieces of embroidery, security isn't as important as, say, sewing beads on a wedding gown, which that's my background, so that's sort of the place I'm coming from. I try to make sure that, like, nothing's gonna let these suckers fall off. And so that's why I do the tying method that I do. So I will be coming up from the center because, you know, even if it isn't for a wedding gown, I still keep my best practices in place. Or we can just call them habit, whatever you want. That hurt, oh my God. I'm gonna twist all these around like this for now. There we go. Okay. And we're gonna do more of the coming from underneath. Let's start over here. Okay. Go back down. And we'll come up here. Now I'm coming out, and again, I'll get in closer, but I'm coming out of the same, can you see there? It's the hole just in front of where my thread ends. And there we go. Wouldn't be a beading video if I didn't spill stuff everywhere. We've come up, I brought my thread up right in front there, you can see. And I put my bead on and come down behind it. This is tough because I can't move my face to see. There we go. There we go. This is pretty tough with the camera so close, but down we're looking a little wonky and crowded, but push them back and they look much nicer. And the trick is, for me, because I'm a fussy perfectionist, a pair of tweezers. because again, you want the beads to be laying back so that you show the middle parts, which is what gives them a bit of a flower vibe. So I'm coming up in the middle every time, and my petals, as we shall call them, are looking just a little wonky, but that's what the tweezers are for, because see my wonky flower, I push my petals out and boom, cool flower. Looks much better. Now here's an example of when I said you gotta make sure they don't interfere with each other too much. This next one is kind of close to the first one. All right, we got our first clump done. I may go in and add a few more later, but I'll see what it looks like at the end, because these already take enough time. And that's how we get over in our next one. And then we start again and go around the circle. So I'm going to pull back and time lapse, because as you can see, I now have like 80 tiny flowers to make. All right, here we are, nearly done. Of course, I'll have to clean up the back a bit, which, as many of you know, is my least favorite part of this whole thing. And while I can say that there are lots of parts of this that definitely could have been neater, that's what happens when you are trying to get something done in a very short period of time. So for all y'all, I would highly recommend not rushing, and yours will look better than mine. But hopefully you still like mine enough that you want to try it out. Ping Pong is here and she's being very cute. She wants to snuggle and not have me sitting in here. Almost done, Boo. Come on, you goof. I think she feels like if she sabotages set, I will stop. I'm on the last bead, Boo. And there we go. Of course it would be a last bead wants to be a jerk. Are you serious right now? Okay. All right, I will go to the irritation of tying this off and I will show you the finished result. And so here we are. Here's our finished piece. And I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that this tutorial is useful for you. Please let me know if you have any extra questions, and if you try it out, let me know. I'd love to see any versions that you might try, especially if you do Drawlloween, which is super fun. And thanks so much for joining me. And ping pong, yes, and always ping pong.